Yay, we are live. Everybody that is watching, welcome to the Gamma Dames. Sorry we're a little bit late, but you're probably used to that by now. Thank you all for tuning in, and for people that have already asked us questions, remember you can ask us questions and comment along at the Gamma Dames on Twitter or with the hashtag askgammadames. So please do that. As usual, we will introduce ourselves. I am Holly.
I'm Lucy.
And I am Sarah.
Yay! So if we launch straight in with our recommendations this week, who would like to start?
I'll go. This week was Black Monday Murders issue 2. Issue 1 was very, very good. I was very excited about getting issue 2, and issue 2 was also very, very good. So that one.
I've heard amazing things about that, but I don't think
it's been really good.
I missed that first issue and I'm annoyed, so I think I need to go and hunt it down and read it.
Get it on eBay or something.
Yeah.
Everywhere's sold out, but it's because it was brilliant.
It was that good. Yeah, need it now. I want it more. My pick of the month is one called Hadrian's Wall. It came out this week. And it's about this detective who has to go and investigate a murder on this space shuttle called Hadrian's Wall, and his ex-wife, who hates him, is on this ship, and it's a very gritty, dark, slow-paced but atmospheric masterpiece. I love it.
Nice. Mine is Glitter Bomb #1, which came out I think last week, and is on Image Comics, and it's really good. It's sort of about the dark underbelly of Hollywood and the acting industry, which is interesting to me anyway. But then it also has a few horror elements, specifically body horror sort of stuff. I won't say too much, but yeah, it's awesome. It was a little bit like Chuck Palahniuk, who wrote Fight Club. It had a little bit of that vibe. I found it really, really interesting anyway. And then in the back, they have an essay by a woman about something that happened in her career I think it was a producer in Hollywood. So that comic was really good, and then that was really interesting. So that is definitely my one.
That sounds amazing. I do actually have that issue, so I need to read it.
Yeah, and the cover's really nice, which is a bonus.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah. Cool. So we can launch right in. Sarah suggested that we do something, as yesterday was Batman Day. Yay, Batman! So I figure it'd be cool, or Sarah thought it would be cool, if we maybe mentioned our favourite Batman stories. I can guess what Sarah's might be.
I think Sarah'd be spoiled for choice.
I think you might be wrong.
Go on.
Go on, take a guess. What do you think my favourite Batman story is?
I think either The Killing Joke or the Joker by Bermeo.
That one is my favourite Joker book.
Nice.
So you're right there. It's my favourite Joker book. But my favourite Batman run was Night Quest and Nightfall. So, I've said those in the wrong order. Nightfall and then Night Quest. Yeah. So that whole kind of section of, Bane and Batman battling it out, and then Jean Paul Valley becoming Batman. Real. That whole section, that's my favourite.
Are they them massive compendium ones?
Yes, huge. But they're so good. So if you haven't read Nightfall or Night Quest, definitely do.
I haven't, but I will have to check it out.
Awesome. Mine would probably be between Hush, just because I just think that's unbelievably amazing, and Hush is one of the best baddies ever, and Arkham Asylum, Serious House on Serious Earth.
I love that one.
Because I love that one, and I love that artwork. I think it's David Mack is his name. I might be getting that wrong, but yeah, that's amazing.
It's all painted.
Yeah, it's all painted. That's just so trippy, but in a good way. But yeah, I think it's those two. Hush is more of because it's all Jim Lee, so it's gorgeous as well. But yeah, Hush, I really like the story of Hush, whereas visually I like Serious House on Serious Earth.
Yeah.
I think they're probably my top Batman stories.
I realised when we had this idea that I haven't read that many Batman stories. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is actually appalling. But I think my favourite would be Joker, just the Joker one, or Grant Morrison's Batman Arkham Asylum, because I love how trippy that is. So
cool. Yeah, awesome.
So,
there is so much good Batman stuff, though.
Do you have a favourite Batman image of all time? Is there like one standout image of Batman that you constantly kind of go to?
I really like the long Halloween Batman with the really long ears and like the ridiculous cape. So I think that's probably my favourite Batman. That's what comes to mind anyway. But then I like the more monstery looking Batman, which I think he is in that.
Yeah. So like Kelly Jones Bat with the huge ears.
Yeah. I love that. I'm also a big fan of the character of Man Bat, so
I love Bat. And right, this is completely off topic. Like today is Damien's 5th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yay! I've made him survive this long. But yeah, I took him to Smith's Toy Superstore. And he has like the biggest collection of Imaginext Batman stuff ever. And I found today in Smith's an Imaginext Man Bat.
No way!
I was amazed. I was like, we're having that.
That's
and
amazing.
His wings flap and everything. It's so
Oh my goodness. I love him. I think he looked best animated series again when he looked like a proper like half bat, half man.
Yeah.
I was so upset with what they did to him in the Arkham Knight video game because they made him all like he was more just like deformed human, and he literally like the bit where you first see him, it's like a jump scare over the top of a building, and I literally just went, "What have they done to you?" Like I was so upset.
See that? Like everyone had warned me that there was a jump scare, so I was waiting, and I still wasn't prepared for that. But the first one, you know, where this might be a spoiler alert, just in case you're not finished. You know when you're carrying the gas canisters and you're concentrating really, really, really hard to try and not drop them or slam them in too hard, and then obviously a certain character pops up and goes, "Did you miss me?" I was like, "Yes, I did! Oh my God!"
Yes. I was so happy in the Gotham Academy comics, which I love more than anything else. I think they're literally the greatest. There's a kid in that called Tristan who has the Langstrom virus. He like turns into a man bat, so he's like this adorable, like misunderstood emo teenager, but that turns into man bat's just like, I'm in love. Like that's the perfect combination of things. He's so adorable. He's the best.
I don't really have a favourite image of Batman. I think I'm not that into Batman to have a favourite image. I've realised this. I'm not a massive Batman fan. I love how dark it can be, and I love how many stories and variations there are of him now, but I definitely wouldn't say like, oh, I'm a massive Batman fan. I'm wearing a Marvel top right now, so.
Yeah, same.
Well, I think my favourite cover for Batman was Batman 660, which was Batman Grotesque, and the person that made that cover, I always forget his name, even though it's my favourite cover literally ever, but he's not even a comic book artist. I think he's a fashion designer.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so like this guy put together this cover of Batman where he's like, he looks all decayed and like zombified and awesome. So yeah, Batman 660 is my favourite cover of Batman.
Awesome. That's a good, well, happy Batman Day for yesterday.
Batman Day.
Yay. Cool. I guess leading on from there, we can mention that there is definitely going to be a standalone Harley Quinn movie, which...
If not two.
Yeah, which apparently Margot Robbie will be executive producing. So... that's a thing that's happening. I don't know what like story they'll go with for it. Whether it would be cool if they based it off like the more recent, like the New 52 stuff.
I'm very
wary.
Go on, sorry.
I'm definitely very wary of that whole thing. I think because they didn't quite get her right in this movie, so I don't know if they're going to redeem themselves or completely write themselves off in my book.
I think they're going to rush it, and it's just going to be a cash cow thing because she was so popular. I don't.
Yeah, same.
They're going to
That's
care.
what's making me so dubious about it, is the fact that I'm thinking pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you still?
I can always get it wrong. No, I'm still refusing to watch it.
You're still boycotting it.
I haven't seen it either.
No, I won't watch it.
I just can't be bothered.
We've just had a tweet that I completely agree with here. One of my friends has tweeted us saying, "Not sure about a Harley Quinn solo movie. I'd prefer Gotham City Sirens."
Yeah.
That would be badass. Like, I would love that. If they got a decent Catwoman for once, that would be amazing.
I don't know. I don't think anyone's ever going to top Michelle Pfeiffer for me.
I loved her. Yeah. I loved her, and I loved her suit.
I'm not sure who it is, but the voice actress in the Telltale Batman game that's come out recently is amazing. Like, probably best voice of Catwoman that I've heard. But I haven't looked up who it is. But yeah, I don't know who it is, but she's amazing.
Maybe we should, because if she's pretty, she's in.
Yeah. I always thought Natalie Dormer would have made a good Catwoman. She's got that, like, catty, sexy face.
See, what was the name of the lady that played it way back? Was it Eartha Kitt?
Yeah.
She was amazing. I loved her. I know it's really old school, like, but she was cool. Her mannerisms and her voice and her whole attitude. Like, she was just so sassy. I loved her.
Yeah, you definitely need sass to be Catwoman.
Yeah.
We've got a good question from Joseph Leader on Twitter, which is, what would be your pointers for introducing younger readers to the wonderful world of comics? Where would you start?
Squirrel Girl.
Yes. Yes. This is like my favourite thing. Like, when kids come in the shop, or, like, with their mum and dad trying to get into comics, I'm like, yes, let me show you everything. And I would say it depends on the kid. It depends what they're into already. Like, if there's cartoons that they like or certain movies or whatever. So, like, I get a lot of Harry Potter. Love Gotham Academy because that's a little bit Harry Potter because it's a boarding school and there's ghosts and it's a little bit Scooby-Doo. Squirrel Girl is a really good one. Gem and the Holograms for a little bit older.
Yeah, we have a few little gem readers. We've got a few at the moment that are really enjoying Wonder Woman, like the current run of Wonder Woman. Like, because it's, you know, like, not so mature that they don't get it, but it's not so childish that they don't want to read it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, we've got quite a few young readers reading Wonder Woman at the moment. Obviously, there's the Disney XD, the Marvel ones.
Yeah, the little digests.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
The only thing I struggle with sometimes is Batman, because I have, like, a lot of young people come in that want to read it, and, like, they're too young for, like, the New 52 stuff, but they think stuff like Little Gotham, Brave and the Bold looks too kiddie, and it's like, oh, it's really hard to find something in the middle. I know the Batman Adventures ones based on the cartoon are good, but they're like, the trades are really expensive. I think they're like 20 to 22 or 24.99, and like they don't want to spend that much on a graphic novel. Someone needs to write, like, a Batman for, like,
the middle
between the ages, like right in the middle.
So, yeah, that's a good point, actually. If anyone can tweet us a Batman story for that mid-group, where they're not kiddie kids. Because, I mean, Damien's got things like Goodnight Batcave and, you know, like, all of the really young stuff. And he's got phonics with Batman, like, really simple things. But then, like you say, that most Batman stories are a little too mature for that kind of, I'd say, 8 or 9?
Yeah, between about 8 or 9 and up to about 10, 11.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It's a bit of a funny age.
Yeah. And there's not a lot, especially if they like specifically want Batman and that's what they're set on.
Yeah.
I find it really difficult to find something, and especially because really for that age the price range needs to be like up to maybe £15 at the most. Most parents aren't going to want to spend more than that on something, especially that their kid's going to read that quick.
They're just going to test out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if they're an established reading kid, then, you know, parents might be more willing to spend 15 to 20, but if it's just on a whim, they go, oh, I really want to read a Batman book, they're not going to go, oh, give me that £25 book.
I don't know why they wouldn't do Batman Adventures in just, like, smaller books, like the Marvel Digest thing. They're amazing because they're all, like, £8. There's one, actually, that's Deadpool Wolverine Marvel Digest, and that's, like, the only kid-friendly Deadpool. So I'm just like, yes, have this, take this. And we've got one that kind of leads on from that, which is another one from Joe. Do you have an inspiring story beyond yourselves of how you have seen comics and geek bring people together / help people grow / give confidence?
Yeah, I think our shop is a prime example of that. I mean, like, we're still relatively in our infancy, so to speak. I mean, we're about 1.5 years old, but in that 1.5 years, you know, we have quite a few people with social issues that come to the shop. And obviously at first they're very quiet. They just take what they want off the shelf, they buy it. But now it's got to a point where, you know, they'll come in, they'll talk to us about the books that have come out. They'll talk to us about the books they read last week. They'll talk to other customers about the books that they're reading. And, you know, they'll sit down, they'll hang out, they'll actually, like, mingle. So it's become kind of, I hate the phrase safe place because, you know, I don't feel like people need a safe place, but they kind of do. As much as I don't want to admit that it's a thing, they definitely do need somewhere that they can be totally themselves, and everyone just gets to come and geek out and hang out, and it's really nice. So
I've had some lovely stories in my shop. Two specifically. There was 2 guys who came into my shop and they were looking around, talking, and they were there for about an hour. And I found out afterwards that was their first date. And they still come in and buy stuff, and they've been together now for like 4 years.
Oh my goodness.
And they always come on their anniversary and come into my shop because that was their first date.
Oh my god, please tell me they get engaged in your shop.
I'll have the wedding in my shop, it's fine.
Oh my goodness.
Then there was another one where I had 2 regulars and they always came on their own. Now, I'm not saying they don't have any friends, but they always came in on their own. And this wasn't so much for comics. One was into comics, but one would also buy Magic the Gathering cards because we sell them individually. So they would spend hours looking through comics and cards separately. And one day I'm doing a trade-in while they're both in, so they have to wait around, and they start talking. Now I see them outside playing Pokemon Go together in the Albert Dock and stuff, and they've become friends. And I think I actually wonder what's happening between them. And I'm trying to work it out, but at the moment I think they're just friends. But it's so nice. And my shop did that for them. Being in a community of like-minded people, they've managed to make friends.
That is like the best thing.
Difference.
Yeah, that is like the thing to me, like when I'm like super stressed out, have no money, like ready to collapse, and then you see something like that and you're just like, yep, that's all the reward that I need for doing it. I've had that as well. Like I've seen like customers like add each other on Facebook, or like they're talking on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, you met in the shop. Like I just realized you met in the shop for the first time. And there was a girl that's been coming in who I call Squirrel Girl because she literally looks like Squirrel Girl, and she is 11, 12. She's just started secondary school, and she came in for the first time like a couple of months ago, and she was kind of like nervous coming into this comic shop for the first time with her mum and her dad and her little brother, and they were such like a sweet, like nice family, and they were looking around, and I said, you know, do you need any help, blah blah blah, and I ended up suggesting her some things that she might like. So she left with a couple of issues, and we were looking, well, before she left, we were looking at Squirrel Girl, And I showed it to her, and she was just like, yes, like this is it. And I explained to her like what her powers were and all this, and she thought it was hilarious, and her mum thought it was hilarious. And then her mum went, oh, she looks a bit like you. And I was like, oh, I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was thinking. Anyway, so they go. Next time they come in was after World Book Day at school. Turns out she went to school as Squirrel Girl for that day, which was amazing. And then she comes in next time. She saved up her pocket money, and she gets the next trade of Squirrel Girl. So she's got like the first two. And then the next time she comes in, her mum, I think, buys her gem and something else. And they came in again a couple of weeks ago. So they're kind of like regulars now. But the Squirrel Girl, she also dressed up as someone from Rebels for like a party a couple of weeks ago. And she looked so cool that they came and showed me pictures. And she emailed me the day before yesterday saying, hi, Holly, it's Squirrel Girl. And then like a little squirrel emoji. I was just wondering if you could help me. I've just started secondary school and I have to do an essay, like a speech in English. I'm doing it on the importance of like female characters in comics. And I was just like, and then like, she was like, I wondered if you had any like pointers. So I wrote her an email back, and like I finished it off with like, kick butts and eat nuts, which is what Squirrel Girl says. And then she replied again, and she was like, oh, thank you so much. That was like a really inspiring reply, and I definitely feel better about doing it now. And I was just like, oh, Squirrel Girl. Like, she's so sweet. And that's what she's chosen to do for her English speech. That is the most adorable thing ever.
Are you trying to adopt her now?
Yeah, I might have to. There's like a little sort of like legion of small girls that come in, and a few of them come to ladies' night, and I just want to be like, come here and let me protect you.
Well, I think your ladies' night is a fantastic example of community and comics and stuff like that. I wish I had the space and the opening hours to do that.
Yeah, they've been like amazing. Like I was looking at, because we take a selfie at every one, and like the first selfie there's like 10-11 girls there, and when I did it I didn't think anyone would turn up, and I was like, oh my god, 10 people turned up. And now we're getting like 30-35 people at every single one, and every time I'm just like emotional about it. I'm like, look at all these people. And there's people that like came to the first one, and at the first one no one knew each other, and now they're all like best friends, and like I see them all hanging out outside of the shop and like doing their own thing, and like they've made all these friendships, and it's just amazing. And I've had a few people say recently, like, the reason they like coming to my shop so much is because apparently that it's like a strong community feeling. And I think it's exactly what you said, Sarah, like having that like safe place, whatever you want to call it, is like vital for some people, because it's the only place you meet other like-minded people.
Exactly, yeah. And it's so hard to like, it's so hard to spot a comic book fan in the street for the most part. Because like the people, like our customers are a prime example. You wouldn't know looking at them that they read comics, because everyone has this idea of what a comic book nerd is supposed to look like, and none of my customers look like that, none of them. So if they were just in the street like trying to talk to people, they're not going to be like, hey, you like Spider-Man, like, do you know what I mean? Whereas in the shop, we're all there for one reason.
Yeah. And like, if I've like just sold like a comic to a regular, and like I know he's reading the series, and someone else, another regular's in the shop, I'm just like, hey, he's reading that, like, and then they'll usually start a conversation about it.
Be friends.
So in the shop, we use the customers for recommendations. Like, I'll go, oh, this book was good, and then I'll go, oh, you read it, like, what did you think? And they're like,
I've done that.
It was great. So then, you know, immediately you've got people talking about it. And like recently we adopted one of our female customers as another member of staff.
Awesome.
Because I love her. So yeah, now we've got like me and her and Dan. So there's 2 girls and 1 guy in our shop now. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like adopting people.
I'm literally like that Now Kiss meme. I'm like, be friends.
Yeah. You and you, here.
Amazing.
At least high five each other, please.
Please. We should probably talk about something which Lucy reminded me of, because I was obviously so happy about it that I blocked it out. Alan Moore is quitting comics. Yay!
I I need to say something before we even discuss this. I actually screenshotted this because only 2 people on my Facebook shared this link, and it was you two. And so obviously it was showing that. And Sarah's going, no! And Holly goes, about time. Like 2 polar opposites.
I practically got a little party hat out, a little blower, a little flag.
And then there's me, emo in the corner, mascara down my face, looking like Alice Cooper.
Yes.
I want to know why you don't like him.
Well, first off, I 100% appreciate how influential he's been, and that a lot of stuff now wouldn't exist if it wasn't for him. That's fine. That doesn't mean I have to like his writing. The Beatles were influential. I think they're shit. And that's how I feel about Alan Moore. Like, I know he's done a lot. Like, all the stuff of his that I've read has just... The only thing that I liked was The Killing Joke, which you now know I feel a bit iffy about. I don't like Watchmen. I didn't like V. I thought League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was the most boring drivel ever. I just don't like anything he writes. That's it.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, if you were to look at my bookshelf downstairs, there's like an Alan Moore section. Like, I have From Hell, V for Vendetta, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Watchmen, all in massive hardcover format. Like,
Yes.
I just love the way he writes. I love the way he takes a word and puts it next to another word. There are many people that do it the same way that he does. Yeah. So I just massively appreciate the way he writes overall. Like, it's not necessarily the subject matter. I just love that if you commit to reading an Alan Moore book, you are committing to reading that book. Like, you can't just skip through it. And with so many books at the moment being, you know, like a 5-minute read, it's so nice to get into something, you know, like deep and wordy that covers some difficult subject matter. Because I'm kind of the opinion that we shouldn't ever have to shirk around something that does happen in real life. You know, like, everyone always says, oh, Alan Moore's so rapey, like, all his books are so rapey. And, you know, I just think rape happens in real life. Like, why should we pretend that it doesn't in literature? So long
I
as
just think
it's
he uses it
handled-
excessively.
Yeah, but, you know, so do other people. It's not just him.
Holly doesn't like them either.
No, and it's, you know, on Alan Moore's side, you know, at least it's not just his women. Right? No. But I just think, you know, I don't think we should avoid it as long as it's handled sympathetically. I don't see why it shouldn't be in literature because it's a real life occurrence. So.
I just don't think he's a good writer. I don't think J.K. Rowling's a good writer. But then again, I know plenty of people who think like the comics like Squirrel Girl and Howard the Duck are total shit, but they're the stuff that I like.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's different strokes for different folks. Like,
yeah,
some
exactly.
people like, you know, more light-hearted, entertaining stuff, and people like me like a grind through a book.
Yeah. I think in my comics, I do like some dark stuff, but I think it has to be quite specifically done. But then I really like Chuck Palahniuk's books, and his is like all gross, but his is like comedy gross. Actually, I've just seen it on my shelf. Everybody in the entire universe needs to read Black Sad.
You mentioned this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
Can you take a picture of it for me?
Yeah. What, to remind you?
So I know what it looks like.
Yeah. I got there's another 2 hardbacks that are like mini stories that I haven't read yet that I've just remembered I've got. I was looking for dark stuff that they're up there. But yeah, I don't know. I know like everyone loves Alan Moore, but I don't know. I don't feel like he's relevant anymore. But then that's just me.
I don't know. I think in all his quirks, for me, he will be forever relevant. I don't agree with everything he says, and I don't agree with everything he does.
You say quirks. Isn't he meant to be like a massive a-hole in real life? Like,
I don't know. I think
Have you ever met him?
a strange old man.
Yeah.
Like in the same way that Frank Miller is a strange old man.
Frank Miller's a strange old racist.
Yeah. Some people think he's a complete asshole. Some people love him. Do you know what I mean? Like my grandma, I'm going to get into it. My grandma is a massive racist, and I don't appreciate that at all in any way. But she's still my grandma. Like, and you know what I mean? It's that kind of.
Yeah, but you have to love your nan. You don't have to.
But then I have to love Alan Moore. Like, he's done so much for me.
I saw, I can't remember where I saw it, but someone was discussing this the other day. The thing of, like, if you enjoy someone's creation versus if they're a terrible person, like, should you still support the thing that they've created if you enjoy it? If they have done a terrible thing. It was about...
It depends how questionable it is, I think.
Yeah.
Like, Alan Moore just has odd opinions and odd reactions. He's not exactly a terrible human. So I'm quite happy to continue to support him, even though I don't agree with some of his views. Whereas, you know, the Superman editor, we've all heard about that. That's not cool. Like, that is not cool. That's beyond... having a weird opinion on something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it depends. I think it's like case by case. It depends on the thing.
And there'll always be a shady grey area.
Yeah. Wait, who's the guy who hit Rihanna? Was that Chris Brown?
Chris Brown.
Like, the fact that anyone ever buys a single off him now, it baffles me.
It's mental, isn't it?
I don't even.
He's not even good.
Anyway. The fact that, like, people, like, apparently girls were tweeting saying, like, oh, he could hit me any day or something like that. And I'm like, what?
But it goes back to this whole romanticizing violence thing.
I was just going to say
that's another thing that I have a problem with Suicide Squad for. You know, like, people are just romanticizing the Joker-Harley kind of relationship without understanding the actual facts of it.
I saw people a lot romanticizing Jessica Jones and Kilgrave. And I was just like, I'm just going to leave this conversation because, like, this is ridiculous. Like, can you hear what you're saying?
Well, did you see
but I think it goes back to that. It goes back to the 50 Shades mentality, I think. You know, where they've so badly represented, like, an S&M relationship, but it's practically abuse in the books. But everyone's going for it anyway. Like,
I think it's different. You know, I'm one of the few people who have the massively unpopular opinion that with 50 Shades of Grey, it was someone who was just writing out a fantasy, and it's like, people should be educated and aware that that is an abusive relationship in that book, but that was kind of her fantasy. That's what she wanted. And it's like, it's all about being educated. But then there's like the Suicide Squad where it is a weird relationship. And then DC are releasing bans that say #relationship goals. That's wrong.
And then there's the
you're saying it's okay.
They've chopped out all of the parts where you actually see him be abusive towards her. Like, obviously, that clip of him slapping her did the rounds, and that wasn't in the final cut, I don't believe. So they've taken out all of those bits. I mean, quite rightly, my friend has just pointed out that obviously Harley and Joker has been romanticized for years before Suicide Squad, but it has never been romanticized on such mass appeal.
I was going to say, and this is going out to a much wider audience, there's a level of responsibility there. If you're making a big Hollywood movie, there's a level of responsibility with what you choose to put out and how you choose to portray it. Definitely.
And it's been romanticized for years by people who have read more than one issue or something. You know, it's by people who know the full story, not someone who's just gone into a cinema and gone, oh, they're the couple I want to look up to.
Yeah. I've had people come in the shop and be like, oh, I've just seen Suicide Squad. I want something about Joker and Harley's, like, romantic relationship. I'm like, okay, here's Mad Love. Enjoy that. We've had at RM897654 ask thoughts on Gotham or The Flash TV shows.
I will sign out here because I don't watch them.
just me that has watched Gotham then. I don't watch The Flash. My brother's actually watching it at the moment and thinks it's great, but I haven't bothered. I think Gotham is good. I am the only person on the earth that thinks Gotham is good, apparently, because everybody else thinks it's shit.
I watched one episode and I actually really liked it. It's just a show I haven't really got round to watching. But The Flash, I just happened to have it on the TV and it was on, and I watched it for about 5 minutes and I had to turn it off. I was like, this is like some teen superhero that works for the CSI. Like it reminded me of like CSI meets The Flash, and it was weird and I didn't like it and it was rubbish and I just turned it off. But the Gotham
I watched an episode of Flash. I thought it was dreadful, so I didn't watch any more. I watched a few episodes of Gotham, but the problem I had was my brain, because it functions in real world Batman, like like the actual timeline of the Batman stories.
Yeah, and this is all over the place.
Function, like it couldn't deal with who was meeting who and how old everyone was and in relation to the other characters. And yeah, my brain just couldn't wrap its head around the figures.
Yeah, I quite enjoy it as like a total disconnect from every other version of Batman. Yeah, and I think that's why I like it, because I'm quite fed up with the movies and the comics and everything at the moment. I feel like it's all been done. And Gotham at least is coming at it from a different angle, and it's less about Batman and more about the bad guys. And I always preferred Batman's bad guys than Batman. And I think the way they've done Gotham City in particular is probably the closest thing to the comics. Like we've had, like visually, it looks exactly like it could come off the page. Yeah. And I think that's really good. The guy that plays the Penguin, Robin Lord Taylor, is like amazing.
He was the saving grace of the whole thing for me. I think he's incredible. Absolutely amazing.
I also think he's really attractive, specifically as the Penguin.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, yes, someone else gets it. Everyone else is like, Holly, I think there's something wrong with you. And I'm like, but he's cute in like a pathetic way.
I have a weird crush on the older brother in Stranger Things. And I look at him, and I keep changing my mind of whether he looks like a wax model that's melted a little bit of Kevin Bacon. That's what he looks like.
Melted Kevin Bacon. Yeah,
but I'm kind of apparently into Kevin Bacon when he's melting. So
he is a bit bacon.
Melty Kevin Bacon has to be better than normal Kevin Bacon. So.
I actually, I fancied the horrible, like the dickhead boyfriend in that, which just says everything about me. Yeah, he was very like JD from Heathers, and like with the floppy hair, I was like, oh, I like him. And then like as he turns into a terrible person, I was like, I like him more. Like, what's happening?
Well, it's like, have you seen in Injustice where there's Zatanna and Harley Quinn, I think, and Constantine's there, and she's like, who is he? And she's just like, oh, it's Constantine, be careful, he's dangerous. And she goes, oh, I like him more now. And that's so me, like, it's so me.
Oh, yes. We had a good
worst attitude to have, but it's totally true. Like, I absolutely love bad men.
Can't resist a bad boy.
You cliche.
I know, it's bad. Yeah, like when I first watched Heathers, I literally went, oh, and then like when he started doing things that he does, I was just like, oh my god, it's getting worse, help me. Joe Leader asked if any of us have any upcoming cosplay plans.
I have a few.
Yes, go on.
Well, obviously everyone knows that I'm planning to actually wear a completely accurate Spawn suit.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I am.
Now everyone knows.
And also, we mentioned her before. Pfeiffer Cat is on my list.
Yay!
Because I love her.
That will be amazing.
As well as, people may know Lady Noctis. She and I have plans of the Harley Joker variety.
Amazing.
Oh, she's so good at cosplay. You two look amazing.
She is my help buddy. Like, she and I wing everything. When I was going to Dunfermline Comic Con to be a judge, I had not even started my armored Wonder Woman, you know, from the David Finch cover where she's got the full suit and the gold armor and all of that. So I went round to her house, and in one night we managed to knock out an entire Wonder Woman suit. And it was purely by chance. I took a corset and a bodysuit and she had some foam and stuff. I took hot glue guns and spray paint, and it turned out great. But we had no plan, no stencils, no nothing. You know, no patterns to cut to. We just went for it, and somehow it came out really well.
Amazing. When is your? Do you know when you'll be doing your cosplay plans for?
Well, she's actually started on her latex Harley, so I need to actually start on the 3 varieties of Joker that I'm going to be doing. One of them I'm very, very excited about is going to be based on Liba Mayo's Joker in
awesome.
Joker. And I have a friend of mine called Sean, who's a makeup artist for Captain America. He did Red Skull.
Amazing.
And he did Vision for the Avengers movies.
You should get him on the podcast.
I will, I'll get him. He's going to be doing me a full face of prosthetics.
That's incredible.
So I'm going to be an incredibly ugly man.
Are you going to do it for Are you going to do it for a con or like a photo shoot?
I think we're going to try and take it to San Diego next year. But
that'd be amazing.
Provisionally, it's going to be for a shoot.
Mm.
So I'm doing 3 varieties of Joker. I'm doing classic with the pinstripe trousers. I'm doing the Alex Ross with the black and white. And I'm doing the Liba Mayo with the messed up face.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's so exciting.
What about you, Harley?
My plans at the moment are Sunday of MCM in October. I'm part of a hipster Marvel group. So I'm doing Hipster Bucky, obviously. And then after that, SuperCon next year, which will be one day will be World War II Bucky, where they rescue him from Hydra, and he's got the jumper and stuff on when Steve saves him, which is going to be about 100 degrees because it's like a wool jumper. But I keep saying that like he's all dirty and grimy, so I'm like, at least the sweat will be authentically real.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, how'd you get that gross sweaty look? I'll be like, oh, it's just natural.
It's glycerin water and actual real sweat.
Yeah. And then the other day of SuperCon, provided everything goes to plan, might involve all of us 3, hopefully.
Maybe.
We're hoping. I don't know whether we should tell people. Like, should that be a surprise?
Yeah, let's make it a surprise. We'll do a big reveal.
Okay, yeah.
And like 3 people will be like, all right.
Oh, damn. There they are.
What's yours, Lucy?
Have you seen the film Kubo yet? And the 2 strings?
No.
Not yet.
I want to see it so much.
It's so good. There's a character in that. But I love bad people. Like most of my cosplays are villains or bad people. And it's one of the sisters. They're bad people, and I'm going to be cosplaying her. She kind of looks like, do you know, in Nightmare Before Christmas, they have the 3 trick-or-treaters who go and kidnap Santa Claus.
Oh, Lock, Stock, and...
Yeah.
Barrel.
Shock and Barrel,
Whichever one is the girl, it kind of looks like a grown-up version of her if she grew up.
Is that Shock?
I can't remember.
I think it's Shock. Barrel's the small round one, and Lock is the other boy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, I've already had someone start to make the mask for me, and then everything else is pretty simple. If I can get the mask down, it'll look amazing.
Sweet,
yeah. Are you going to do that for a convention?
Exciting.
At least a photo shoot, probably a convention though. I like to show them off in person if I can.
See, this is the one thing I'm really looking forward to about doing Joker cosplays is like they're just standard suits. They're going to be so comfortable. I'm so used to being in pain.
I've actually wore shoes to the point where my feet were bleeding and can't.
Yeah, I've bled into my shoes before. And also, because of the way I have my chest piece and my capes cut, I normally end up with big purple bruises across my shoulders. because my capes are so heavy, like they are actually leather and silk, and they're enormous.
My Batwoman cape wasn't a leather one, and that was just fabric, and that was heavy enough.
Yeah. So because mine are so big and so heavy, I end up bruised from carrying that around, bleeding all over my feet, aching because I've been in a corset all day. Like, so I can't wait to put a suit on.
It's not cosplay unless you're too hot and uncomfortable and hurt afterwards.
And regretting every second of it until someone comes up and goes, "Oh my god, you're amazing, this is my favourite character ever," and then you're like, "Oh, it was worth every minute."
Yeah. Like when I first started doing Bucky, I was like, I can wear flat shoes. Yes.
One of the reasons I want to carry on doing April O'Neil is I'm just like, flat shoes.
Yeah, but you look in my mind now. When I think of April, I think of you.
Yeah,
you know, like everyone has that cosplay that they associate everybody with. So I see Holly as Bucky and you as April, and obviously Lady Noctis is Harley to me. It's just
amazing.
It's just that thing.
Speaking of who as who, Ross Atkinson's just commented on the video, and he said, "I want to see a cosplay team up of Holly as Bucky and a Steve on an awkward first date together. You so need to do that, Holly."
I have she's intergalactic cosplay. She's my skinny Steve usually, so that could totally work.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes. That's an awesome idea. It was the best thing ever. Just after Civil War came out, one of my customers, Amelia, came in and she was like, "Oh, I can only be here for a minute because I've got to go." But she was like, I was so confused. Like, she was like, "I just went to see Civil War, and like when Bucky came on the screen, I expected it to be you, but it wasn't." And I was like, "That's like the best compliment ever." She was like, "It was really weird because I expected it to be your face, but it wasn't, and it didn't look right." I was like, "That's the best thing anyone's ever said to me." But yeah, I totally get that when someone just like is a character, because I did the exact same thing with your April. I was like, "Oh well, that's Lucy's April now." Like that's
Lucy is April.
I am fine with this.
No need for any more Aprils. Like, in my mind, you are a beautiful mix of April and Mary Jane, and that's it. If there's ever movies with both of those people, like my casting in my mind now just goes Lucy.
Yes.
If I was ever an anime character right now, I'd have like all that pink haze here on my cheek.
Yeah. Little...
Yes. Sometimes I wish you could do those things in real life, like just overlay it.
Here's a good question. I always play this. What if you could have only one superpower, but it is the most pointless superpower? It doesn't actually do anything to help anyone. What would you have? Like, you could have an anime pink haze show up for no reason.
Okay, I would have the ability to change my nail colour, probably.
Oh, that's not pointless. That's genius.
That is pointless. In day-to-day life, it's utterly pointless. But I'd spend hours just going pink, purple, red, blue.
It could be like a mood ring, but for nails.
Yeah. What mood am I in? Black. Go away.
I think I would either like the ability to just like pop up GIFs in front of my face, like rather than use my own face to react, like just have a GIF instead, or have my hair like never grow and never need washing, so I could just be like, okay, this is the length I want it, stop now, like no roots to deal with. Like that would be good.
That would be good. That's not a pointless one at all.
Yeah,
that would be good.
Save a lot of women a lot of time.
Yeah.
What about yours, Lucy?
I've always said that I would freeze in the air, and so if I ever had like a victory, I could just go yes, and then just freeze.
And then stop.
Yes. You need to get someone to like make a little video of that, surely.
But please tell me your face doesn't freeze, so we can still see kind of the thoughts crossing your face.
Like, how do I unfreeze?
Yeah,
Didn't think this
look
through.
at all of these people. Look at all of these people looking at me frozen.
Yes. Oh, how amazing.
I like that game.
Yeah, I do. That's a good one. I read a thing the other day. I was reading up on like Infinity War stuff, and because obviously I've watched Civil War 4 times now, so I'm ready for Infinity War. And I read a thing saying that there's a rumour, and it's like heavy, like it's all rumours because we have no idea what's going to happen, but there's a rumour that Thanos is going to bring back like Red Skull, Zola, like all their bad guys.
Ooh.
And I was like, I actually kind of hadn't thought about that, and that is a cool idea. Like if he brought back everyone's bad guys that they'd already beaten.
You know who we should have on this podcast? The makeup artist guy. Because he did the makeup for Red Skull. If he's doing another movie for Marvel, we know that that's true.
Yes, we'll pry secrets out of him. Perfect. Oh my god, yes. We should definitely get him. Do you think he's touched Chris Evans?
Yeah, probably.
Would you just like nick his whole body just in case Chris Evans has been in contact?
Yeah,
maybe he could do like a full body cast of him and just say he needs it for work.
I only need I only need one bit, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. We'll see. I'll ask him if it's Scotland.
Oh my god, yes.
But he does. Great. He has a wall of famous faces, you know, like face casts, and it's so creepy. But he's got a Brad Pitt in there, and it like, oh,
that's amazing.
I just want to lick his face.
You'd be like, I need this giant head. Just don't ask any questions.
For science.
I'm just gonna put it on this chair. What are you doing, Sarah? Nothing. I'm just very tired. I need to put it down.
You're a mother, Sarah. A mother.
I know.
Oh, I'm very tired. I need to sit down.
Stop my mother.
Oh, that would be great. You could make your own chair.
My mum, honestly, she's an absolute terror. You'll see where I got it from. She's awful.
To be honest, this makeup artist trend will come on for 5 minutes and be like, I can't talk to you three anymore.
This anymore. But yeah, I'll definitely ask him if he has any Chris Evans stuff in his studio.
Any of it, top to toe, any of it's fine.
Just next time you see him, Sean, just take a test tube and store some of his sweat in there, please.
Or anything else that goes in a test tube.
We're ever able to clone.
Yes. Or make robots. Hyper-realistic robots.
Yeah, that would work. You'd be good at it.
Yeah. I almost think a robot version would be better, because then you could just switch them off when you want them to be quiet.
Yeah, like, oh, shut up, go away.
Yeah.
Enough of you.
I'm done with you now. You've served your purpose, go away.
Get in your cupboard.
That would be amazing. Like, imagine people coming around your house and you're like, oh yeah, just stick your coat in the cupboard, and they open it and there's just a fully life-size asleep Chris Evans in there.
Just stick it over his face, it's fine.
Holly?
Yes?
Nicole's just commented on this live chat saying, oh my god, Holly, you and those robots. Do you talk about robots a lot?
Look. What it is people, since Fallout 4 came out, that's what it is. Because Fallout 4 has a character in it called Nick Valentine, who I'm in love with. He happens to be a robot. Like, that's fine. It's the future. Right.
I don't judge.
But this is what hurts me deeply. In Fallout 4, you can sleep with every other companion except Nick.
That's
what's that about?
Rude.
He's like, in the future, what are robots for if not having sex with them?
Well, people have sex with robots now, so...
Exactly. Like, why does Fallout 4 deprive me of this? And then from that, I've had conversations with people in the shop saying, I think I've said before, if you could get, like, super realistic robots of famous, attractive people. Like, that would be great. Awesome. You'd never have to leave the house. Like...
And only if they came with, like, housekeeping settings as well.
Yeah.
So you can be like, oh, Chris, just Hoover. Benedict. Can you just cook some
full? Yeah. Like your own slaves.
And Hiddleston, do me a favour, just puff up those cushions.
They'd just be bringing me cheese all the time. We make it sound
same.
good,
And grapes.
but I'd be like, just bring me cheese. That's okay. That's all I need.
Bring me cheese and then power down.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
we
be
know what the
great.
title of this podcast is going to be called.
Feed me cheese.
Feeding cheese and sex robots.
That would be like our book. Oh, yes. Amazing.
So this was as professional as ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we covered
Did
the
you expect any
comic booky
wrestling?
stuff first.
Yeah, we
Some-
do.
Somehow we'll always end up back at Cheese and Chris Evans. Like, that's
Yeah, that's
like, God forbid one of us ever actually meets him.
It would be interesting.
it wouldn't even faze me, but you've put so much imagery into my head now that I
Yeah, that you just burst out laughing.
Yes. Be like, can you just hold this piece of cheese while I take a photo of you, please?
Just hold it as if you're going to put it in my mouth.
Yes. Could you just hold 2 pieces of cheddar over your nipples, please, Chris? Yes. How amazing.
Just that little cheese slice hanging out of his mouth.
Yes. Little baby bells.
That would be so funny.
Well, hopefully one day it'll happen.
Yeah, well,
Maybe.
he's going to see this podcast and issue a restraining order.
Probably.
Or he's going to be like, oh my God, I'm a big cheese fan. How did they know?
Yeah. I'm going to go on that podcast only if the only subject we cover is types of cheese.
Yes. We should write like a really elaborate letter to his agent being like, look, we've got this podcast. It's about cheese.
Does he like camembert?
The whole podcast is about Chris Evans and cheese.
It's a very niche market. People seem to like it.
Well, you know, people get famous on YouTube for just eating food. So
True.
it could be worse.
Imagine that, a whole channel of Chris Evans eating cheese.
I would watch that over.
I would watch that. That'd be an instant subscribe.
Just a piece of each type of cheese. So that every time there's a slightly different reaction.
I'm imagining him with like a table like laid out, like slowly eating each bit of cheese.
And just waiting for each one. Oh, he didn't like that one. I wonder what that was.
Oh, tune in next where Chris tries brie.
But
And then we'd all have like Gamma Dames react to Chris Evans finally eat cheese. And it's just like, yes.
What's that? Is it that Austrian cheese that comes in like a little sausage?
The sausage, yeah, it's my favourite.
Best. I love them so much. Can you imagine? Like, yes, go on, eat the Austrian one.
Eat the whole
Get it
sausage,
all in.
Chris, please.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. How amazing. Wow, I guess
we should
with
probably
that.
finish on a comic book note.
Oh. Oh.
So yeah, next week's books. I'm trying to be professional.
I know. I've forgotten how to talk, let alone be professional.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
How
So
amazing.
I think like we've done an hour.
Yep.
Half
We
an hour
have.
if that was cheese, but we've done an hour. Cheese bit.
Yes. Maybe in one podcast we'll finally eat cheese ourselves. We'll bring
Oh my God,
cheese.
yes.
Like the anniversary, we'll just sit there eating cheese.
Yes.
For an
Oh my God, I
hour.
love it. A live cheese eating.
Yeah, I'll just be like, hey, girls, are you ready? After 3, we want the cottage cheese. That's not really even cheese. Yeah.
Yep, don't know why I found it there. Should have questioned this on the shopping list.
Oh, yes, glorious. Oh, well, I will say one thing, which I forgot to say earlier. Everyone should read Doom Patrol.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's bizarre. To be honest,
I don't get it.
To be honest, someone said to me the other day, did you just read it through rose-tinted glasses because it's Gerard Way? Yes. Like, he could have written 10 pages of fucking nothing. I would have been like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to comics. Like, I will read anything that he does. But I did really enjoy it. I did really enjoy it.
I have always said that if Liber Mayer was to draw a sketchbook that was entirely sketches of feces, I would still say it was the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, so yeah, you get it. You're in a similar thing. Yeah, I loved it.
No, I read it, and for me, it was a bit like flicking through a coloured-in colouring book.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
You know, like I was
it's
just image after image after image, and none of it really connected.
Joined together. Mm.
And I found
it
weird. But then I know
really
that's because obviously they're trying to introduce everybody.
Mm. Yeah, and I think that, because I haven't read any Doom Patrol before, but I think it was Grant Morrison before, and it was weird then as well.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the first one, so I'll give it a few issues and see if it stays enjoyable. But he also wrote like a little mini essay thing at the back about like how thankful he is for the job, and I was like, he is just the sweetest human being. I would also watch him eat cheese. Like, he's adorable.
Maybe we can invite him.
God, can you imagine? I'd lose my mind.
Would you just cry for the hour?
So I think we should sign off with an open invitation to celebrities that we find attractive. If you want to join us on our podcast and eat cheese, you are all cordially invited to do so.
And discuss sex robots.
And whether we can make a mould of your face for our future furniture.
We're not going to get a single celebrity on here ever again.
Or maybe all of them. They'll be like, this is what we were looking for.
These girls say what they want. Cheese and furniture.
They don't mess about.
Amazing. Well, thank you everybody for watching and tweeting along. I'm sure plenty of you enjoyed our cheese and faces conversation. So yeah, thank you for everybody. We'll see you next time. We'll put details up of the next one when we have figured that out. So follow us on Twitter at @askgammadames, and on Facebook, which is the same, the Gamma Dames. Remember, you can tweet us questions for next time now if you want, because we'll just look back. So thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you.
And
Bye.
I'll see you soon. Bye.